Hey guys, welcome to another market review session with us tonight. All right, and as our usual tradition is, all right, we'll look at some currency indices together before looking at some currency pairs or commodities. All right, so first up, we're going to be looking at the US dollar index, and as you can see on my chart, I'll be expecting strength, all right, in the coming week, all right, on DXY on the US dollar. Or you can see I've marked out a zone here between 103.851 and 103.659. Yes, so I'm watching out for some strength, all right, from the dollar. All right, that being said, probably during the early days of the week we might be able to see some weakness. We might actually get to see the dollar, or DXY rather, push a bit deeper into the zone, all right, before we get to see that bullish continuation. All right, however, my overall bias for this coming week on DXY would be bullish. All right, so I hope that is clear. All right, quickly let's look at BXY. All right, and I think as of last week, all right, we're expecting some level of weakness, all right, from the Great British Pound Currency Index, and we got to see that happen quite well. All right, so during the course of this week, my bias will still be bearish on BXY. So I'll be expecting BXY to continue bearish. All right. So next up, let's look at AXY, which is the Australian dollar currency index. And as we said for BXY, we're expecting some weakness, all right, for BXY last week. All right. And we got to see that happen, or we're still expecting something like that during the course of this week. Same goes for AXY. All right, I'll still be expecting some level of weakness to show on AXY. For the meantime, all right, I'll be watching out for price to still get back to, let me just mark this out quickly, to somewhere around here. All right, before I look at possible reversals. Give me a minute, let me just mark this out better. All right, so something more along this line. All right, so I'm just watching out for something like that to happen. All right, but for this week at least, my bias on AXY would be bearish. All right, next up we're looking at CXY, which is the Canadian dollar currency index, and let me just go up to the daily time frame real quick. All right, so on the daily time frame, as you can see, all right, as of last week, we're expecting weakness, all right, from CXY. We got to see that happen just a bit, and then we saw towards the end of the week, we got to see price come up just a bit. All right, so that being said, all right, during the course of this week, I'll be expecting some level of weakness from CXY. All right, I'll be expecting some level of weakness rather from CXY. So my bias for this week on CXY would be bearish. All right, bearish until we get to see we get price coming into this. This is around 73.00. All right, and this zone you can see here is between 72.88 and 72.39. So I'm watching out for those two regions. All right, I'm watching out for what price will do when it gets there. All right, next up, let's look at JPY basket, and I think we're expecting some level of weakness also. During the course of last week, we're expecting JPY basket to be bearish. All right, and we got to see that happen. I think we got to see a bit of a push up first, all right, before we got to see that continuation towards the downside. And during the course of this week, I would still be bearish on JPY basket. I would still be bearish on JPY basket. However, I want to be cautious. I want to be watchful. It is very likely that we'll get to see price possibly push a bit more, all right, into this upside before we get to see price, continue towards the downside. All right, so a possible buy to sell movement, all right, on JPY basket, but overall my bias would be bearish. All right, so let's look at some commodities together. First up, everybody's favorite, everybody's probably most traded commodity, and that is gold. All right, so let's look at gold. For most of us, all right, if you were actively trading gold last week, a lot of people were possibly looking at this region for sales. This is around 2062, or a lot of people were looking for possible sales around there, and we got to see that we actually saw this, I guess I should call it an overextended buy, all right, on gold. And you can see that we are in a zone that has already been tested before. All right, this zone is between 2091.03 and 2085.72. 2091.03 and 2085.72. All right, so my bias for gold would be bearish. All right, but I want to also be watchful. All right, there is this huge imbalance that has been created, all right, and I want to watch out for possibilities of us getting a sell off first, all right, to the 61.8. This is around 2057.83. All right, I want to I want to watch out for possible sells to that zone before we watch out for buys. All right. So for me, I'll be bearish on gold till we get to that point. All right. And once we get to this point, this is 2057.95. All right. Once we get to that 2057.95, I'll watch out for lower time frame confirmations. All right, for me to enter for a buy, a possible buy. All right. However, if I get to that price just breaks that cleanly, all right, cleanly, I'll just continue with my bias for bearishness on gold. All right. So I hope that is clear. Next up, let's look at USD card. Give me a minute, please. All right, USD card. All right, so I think last week we were expecting a sell to buy movement to happen on USD card. However, USD card didn't get to our sell zone. However, I was still able to get some profit, all right, off of USD card, and we got to still see that buy happen. All right, and during the course of this week, my bias would be, all right, or my prediction or my analysis, I'll be watching out for a buy to sell movement on USD card. All right, a buy to sell movement on USD card. Now this zone I have marked out here would be my point of interest. This is between 1.36013 and 1.35854. all right, 1.36013 and 1.35854. all right, so I want to watch out for the possibility of price still coming up into that zone before I get to see that sell continuation on USD card. So I hope that is clear also. Next up, we'll be looking at GBP JPY, JPY. Don't mind me. All right, so I think I was talking about GBP JPY during our last market review session, and I was saying that I'll be watching out for sales as soon as we're able to see price come. Let me go up to the weekly time frame so we'll be able to see that a bit better. Yes, I'll say that I was going to be watching out for sales once we get to see price come up into this zone I just marked up with the horizontal lines. All right, so let me go back down to the 4-hour time frame. I've got to see that price narrowly, just very narrowly, all right, just very narrowly. However, based on my trading style, all right, I won't put my entry like directly, all right, at that point. All right, I'll just put it just a bit before. All right, and we got to see that sell-off happen on GBP JPY, thankfully. All right, we got to see that sell-off happen on GBP JPY, and during the course of this week my bias would still be bearish on GBP JPY. all right, however, I want to watch out for a possible, as you can see, a sell to buy to sell, all right, on GBP JPY, sell to buy to sell on GBP JPY. all right, so I'm just going to watch out for price. Let me give us that the coordinates for that zone. This is between 189.716 and 189.596. all right, 189.716 and 189.596. so I want to probably watch out for GBP JPY for price to bring it down to that zone first. Then we get to just see a little bit of a retracement towards the upside, and then we get to see that continuation for this sell. all right, so I hope that is clear also on GBP JPY. all right, next up, let's look at GU. all right, another fan favorite, GU. all right, so basically what you can see on my chart is that I'm expecting a sell. all right, we can see that we've been in this ascending channel for a bit. all right, and finally we've gotten to see, let me just extend this a bit. all right, we're going to see that price has actually sort of broken out of that channel. We've had a fair enough break and retest of that channel. all right, you can see by around here. all right, and currently this one I marked out was actually marked out using the Fibonacci. all right, so I'm expecting a sell, all right, on GBP USD. Would I say that, as you just see the market has opened and press sell on your MetaTrader or whatever app you use? I'm not going to say that. all right, but as much as possible, I want you to look out for your own confirmations. all right, do your own analysis, watch out for your own confirmations, be analytical in your approach to the financial markets. all right, however, my bias for this week on GBP USD would be bearish, so I'm watching out for a sell, all right, from this zone that we are already in. Let me go down to the 1-hour time frame to just make that a bit clearer. all right, this zone is between 1.26721 and 1.26621. all right, 1.26721 and 1.26621. all right, so I hope that is clear for GBP USD. Next up, we'll be looking at USD CHF. all right, I do not think this is a fan favorite anyway, but I feel like this is a very, very beautiful pair. all right, that being said, all right, so let's just go into what I have for us here. USD CHF, my overall bias right now is bearish, all right, on USD CHF. However, I want to watch out for, as you can see here, a sort of sell to buy to sell. all right, and I have 2 points marked out here that I want to take note of. all right, this this is 0.8823, that's point 1, and point 2 would be, this is the zone between 0.88063 and 0.87920, 0.88063 and 0.87920. All right, so I'll be watching out for the possibility of price dropping into one of those 2 points, all right, before we get to see a buy, then we get to see another sell happen. All right, so for me, I got to mark this out again. This is just the 61.8 of your Fibonacci. You can just measure that on your own chart. All right, I just marked that out. I just marked that point out, all right, because this is an imbalance here. Let me just mark this out, or FVG, or depending on whatever you want to call it. All right, so around here, and it is very likely that we get to see price. So you can even see that the 61.8 is just the 0.5 of that imbalance or that inefficiency, whatever you decide to call it. All right, so I just want to watch out for the possibility. So let me confirm that again. Give me a minute, please. Yes, it's just around that point. So I just want to watch out for the possibility of price dropping a bit lower, all right, and then we get to see a reaction. So for me, before I'm going to watch out rather, or I'm going to enter a buy on this pair, I'm going to watch out for possibly a lower time frame confirmation around this 0.88223, or when possibly price gets deeper into this zone that I showed earlier, 0.88063 and 0.87920. All right, so I hope that is clear for USD CHF. I'm expecting a sell to buy to sell movement on USD CHF. All right, so next up, let's go into EU. All right, so for Euro USD, I'm expecting a sell off on Euro USD. All right, so let me just go down to the 2-hour time frame. All right, so I'm expecting a sell on Euro USD. There's a possibility, all right, for us to still get to see price go a bit deeper into this zone. This is between 1.08557 and 1.08425, where there's a possibility for us to see sale price push up a bit into the zone before we get to see that drop. However, my overall bias on Euro USD would be bearish. All right, my overall bias on Euro USD would be bearish. All right, quickly let's look at AUD USD. All right, we still have a couple of pairs to look at together. All right, so AUD USD, basically like what you saw for Euro USD, I'm expecting a bearish continuation on AUD USD during the course of the week. I think I have our previous bias already during the course of last week for AUD USD was bearish, and we're going to see that happen quite well. We're going to see that play out quite well, and I'm still watching out for that bearish continuation to happen on AUD USD. All right, I have a zone I've been watching out for a couple of months now. All right, this was November last year. All right, so this zone is between 0.64131 and 0.63412. all right, so I'm watching out for price to get there. That zone looks to be attracting price. All right, so I'm just watching out for a sell-off, all right, during the course of this week towards that zone. All right, so I hope that is clear. All right, next up, let's look at GBP NZD. You will notice that during the course of last week, we got to see a lot of imbalances created in multiple commodities, in multiple currency pairs. All right, that was because of news releases that caused the USD to be affected. All right, that being said, my bias on GBP NZD would be overall, right, a bearish continuation. However, I want to watch out for, as you can see on my chart, a sell to buy to sell sort of movement. All right, this zone I marked, or this point that I marked out, is exactly the is this 61.8, all right, of the Fibonacci. All right, so I'm just watching out for price to get to that point. All right, and then if I get a lower time frame confirmation, I'll possibly quickly take a scalp for a buy. All right, and then once that is just done, I'll just watch out for again for a sell. Let me just go down to let's just mark this out. The reason why I'm just going to mark this out is because it looks like another block that hasn't been tested yet. All right, this is another block that hasn't been mitigated yet, so I'm just going to watch out for a possible move that will bring price down towards this 61.8 line, back up into this other block, and then we get to see that sell-off happen on GBP NZD. All right, let's just look at two more currency pairs before we call it a night. Let's look at NZD USD. Yes, let's look at NZD USD. All right, so for NZD USD, I'll be expecting, now the what you can see on the chart here, I'm going to try and break this down as simply as I can, all right, because these last two commodities that I'm going to be showing us are my least probable trades, will be my least probable trades for this week. I'll be watching them very carefully before taking any trades on them. Again, this is just the 61.8, all right, measuring just using your Fibonacci, all right. And I want to watch out for something here. I'm expecting a sort of buy movement, all right, on NZD USD. Now I want to be watchful because it is very possible. All right, let me just go up to the 4-hour time frame and show you this quickly. It is very possible that we get to see price actually break below this point. All right, this horizontal, this was a resistance previously, and now it has become a support. So we have it acting as a pivot now. This is 0.60508, 0.60508. all right, it was acting as a resistance here, 1, 2, about 3 or so touches, and then now it's acting as a support. All right, so I want to be watchful for what price will do when we finally get back towards that area. I'm actually being cautious because it is very likely that we get to see price actually break that again, all right, and then we get to see price come lower. That being said, all right, an ideal movement, quote unquote, an ideal movement that I'll be watching out for on NZD USD, all right, would be for us to have a short sale, all right, then we get to see price take out liquidity or just pick up some liquidity from this imbalance before we get to see price. That'll be a buy, all right, and then we get to see price pick up some liquidity through that buy from the imbalance, and then we get to see price continue towards the downside. Again, this is an idealistic approach, all right. It doesn't mean that that's exactly how price is going to play out, or how the price is going to move on this commodity. Like I said earlier, this is one of my least probable trades for the week, and I'll be watching out for it very, very carefully. All right, so the last one, let's look at one more before we call it a night. One more. All right, let's look at Euro NZD. All right, so basically, like I said, for I think NZD USD also, I'll be watching out for a sell, all right, on this commodity, on this pair. All right, so I'm watching out for a sell to this point. Again, this is just the 61.8. I know you've had 61.8 a lot tonight. It is good like that. All right, so I'm just going to be watching out for the possibility of us just getting price towards this end, and then we get to see a buy. All right, now all these 61.8 points I've been mentioning, all right, during the course of tonight's market review, I want you to be very cautious of them. All right, before you're going to enter a buy or a sell from any of those points, please make sure you have your confirmations down. All right, if you're going to be using lower time frame confirmations, if you're using indicators, if you're using whatever it is, make sure your confirmations are on point. All right, don't let the market chop your money. Hold your money to your heart. All right, so that being said, that will be all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us for another market review session. You can just share this video to your friends, all right, like this video, all right, drop a comment if you have a commodity pair that you would love for us to look at, or to just add to the list that we also look at. All right, you can just drop that in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.